Since we are doing these shorter kind of episodes that come out after other stuff happens, we got an extra segment for you guys today. Special Today in History. This is something that we kind of did early on and then moved away from because there was just so much wrestling to go on about with it being WrestleMania season and everything, and then it just went to the wayside. But it's back. I don't know if it's by popular demand or not. I don't know how much demand there is or isn't. But we'll say that the fans were asking for it just to make it sound better. And we got a big one today. Today's date is May 6th, 2025. And on this day in history, May 6th, 2002, WWF becomes WWE. This was a big fucking deal. It had been WWF for people's entire lives at that point. Yeah, I was 18. How old were you, TJ?
22. I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
I think 12.
Something like that. We were pretty young men still, figuring out our way about the world, and it was a change. And the reason for the change was that they lost the legal battle in the United Kingdom against the World Wildlife Fund, who also used the WWF initials. And the court found that the wrestling company had violated a prior agreement regarding the use of the WWF initials, especially online and internationally. Fuck the World Wildlife Fund, first of all. We could still have the World Wrestling Federation in 2020. I'm sure they do great work. I shouldn't say fuck them. But they should have changed their name. Fuck you, World Wildlife Fund. It is what it is. And when they did the branding rollout, they officially unveiled everything May 7th, 2002. And they just took the scratch WWF logo at the time and cut the two F letters off. And they went with this whole get the F out promotion, which was pretty funny. Obviously... everybody gets the double entendre there. And the legacy of this happening was the name change signaled a major turning point in wrestling history. It was not the actual end of the Attitude Era, but pretty much we were getting close. And, this was ushering in the Ruthless Aggression Era. And that it would be the logo that you would see until the modern WWE logo that we have now. And despite backlash from fans at the time, the WWE would go on to become one of the most recognizable brands in sports entertainment. And I would say beyond that, and in the world in general, I mean, WWE is a huge international brand at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Growing up, my cousin, that. This is when I was still in South Carolina before I moved to Maryland when I was younger. And my cousin Carrie, she had a little panda sticker in her room and it had WWF on it. And I remember asking her, because she watched wrestling too. And I was like, what's up with the panda and wrestling? She was like, no, that's the World Wildlife Federation. And I thought that, or whatever the fuck it is. And I was like, oh, that's funny.
Fund.
Yeah, fund. Yeah, that's it. And she, told me about it, and I just thought it was kind of strange because it's like, oh, you think somebody would sue somebody there, and eventually, I guess it did happen, and it's kind of weird that they couldn't have buy their way out of that. It seemed like they wouldn't have had a big problem moving their stuff to a different name.
I think they had just gone public not too long before that, so I don't know how much capital. I mean, maybe. I don't know, maybe he was just ready because, Vince wanted to push wrestling to be more entertainment focused anyway. It was probably just a no-brainer for him at that point. He's just like, well, I'm not going to spend any money. Fuck it. We'll just change it to this.
I guess. It seems weird that Vince doesn't back down from anything. You figure he would want to keep his name. That's the WWF was WWF. WWF was Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Wasn't it something more like the WWF at one point? It's pretty ridiculous.
I'm not sure.
So the F was always a part of the name, but pretty big deal. And I wasn't watching as much at the time. I was watching, but it was it wasn't every week. I think the last image you had on WWF television before it switched was Hulk Hogan winning the undisputed title out of that, or holding it up. Pretty wild shit when you really think about it. But it's maybe it benefited them, maybe it didn't. I'm not sure, but it definitely happened, and it's a pretty big deal because it's their name now, and it is what it is, and it definitely didn't hurt them because look at them. They're still here today doing their thing, making more money than ever.
We actually got a better one than that. Hogan was the last WWF champion and the first WWE champion, but the final image on World Wrestling Federation television before its name change was Trish Stratus celebrating her win after a match on Sunday Night Heat on May 5th, 2002.
Oh, okay.
So let's go Trish. Fucking everybody loves Trish. Everybody hates Hogan, so
yeah,
good.
Kind of the opposite there.